Welcome to the Why Real podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Sautman. If you are an agent that is looking to potentially join Real, we have a really, really good guest today. We have Rafay Qamar, a good buddy of mine who brought me over to Real, and I'm extremely grateful that he did. Rafay, you got a lot going on, man. You want to just give us a little background, a little
Yeah,
up to date
man.
with where you at?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I've been wanting to get on this show for quite some time. I'm a huge fan and huge fan of your business, and we go back to high school days, man. I mean,
We do.
science class, and Miss Golder, was that Goldshire? Or I'm
Yes.
blanking on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Man,
he was
what
awesome.
incredible times. But yeah, man, been in business for just a little over a decade. I run a large team here in Chicagoland area. We do anywhere from 150 to about 180 million dollars in sales volume. Um, I've been doing this, like I said, for quite some time. We are just about to cross $1 billion mark in terms of total sales. And we put the team together in 2019. Before that, I was a franchisee. I was a franchise owner of two Remax offices, one here in the suburbs of Chicago called Skokie. The other one was in West Loop. I wanted to have a bridge of urban to suburban brokerage model where I could help clients from suburbia to move into the city and then vice versa as well. So that was kind of the vision behind that. And I got in business in 2014. I was Rookie of the Year my first year at Coldwell Banker. I sold $10.5 million my first year. It did not matter if it was a rental or if it was a foreclosure. It didn't matter if it was 40 minutes away from me. I did everything. And I remember the first couple of years at Ryan, I did not take a day off, and I worked 7 days a week. So that's kind of the journey. Kind of moved it from forward to backwards, but again, yeah, been there, done that. I mean, kind of been through the life of a solo agent, a broker owner, the brokerage that I owned, the Remax offices. That was more ego than anything else. I wanted to be an owner operator. Just didn't realize how much money and time and expectations take so much of your mental focus that it kind of throws you off completely the production chain. And one thing I know is that money is in production, and it's some sort of platform-based model where you can kind of have shared services and work in a community or in a collaborative style. So that kind of birthed this idea of our team, Qamar Group, back in 2019. My business partner, Jana, Pierce, and I, we started the team. And since 2019 through 2023, about 5 years or so, we sold about $500 million at Compass, and we ran one of the largest teams for Compass in the state of Illinois. And finally, in 2024, we made the switch over to Real, and been very, very excited and very, very happy with the decision. That's kind of the journey. I just want to give you a
Yeah.
quick.
That's awesome. So tell me about your team. So I guess first off, you said that you were the franchise owner of
Yeah.
Remax. You switched over to Compass.
Yeah.
Along that journey, was there a little bit of realizing like, hey, when I take my maybe I mean if a little bit of pride of like, hey, I want to reach this level, and then once you realize like, oh wait, this isn't quite as great as what I thought it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I thought, like, again, that's more ego than anything else. I thought the next level up, once you're Rookie of the Year and you're doing 15, $20 million as solo agent, I thought the brokerage ownership was the next upgrade. And I was very naive, and like I said, in hindsight, I would have done things a lot differently. I wouldn't have jumped into owning a franchise because that comes with its own problems, and you end up becoming an administrator. You kind of completely get sidetracked from selling real estate. It's very difficult to build a team, and it's a revolving door. And again, if I had opened a Remax office back in 1990s or early 2000s, it would have been a different game altogether. But today, it's just the fastest growing space in real estate market is this cloud-based vertical, right? So there are really four verticals in real estate. And this is funny because before we made a move to Real, it was almost 9.5, 10 months off this exploration. I call it brokerage dissection. And Jan and I went down this path of brokerage dissection where we sat down with about 18 to 20 executives of different brokerages. And we we kind of really understood the model, right? So there are four verticals. There's the brick and mortar, which is your Compasses now, and kind of the Coldwell Bankers and the At Properties and all these companies, Baird and Warner and whatnot. The second, the brick and mortar, right? That's a brick and mortar vertical. The second one is more of a franchise model. That's your Century 21, KWs, and Remax, where it's a franchise world. The third one is more of an independent, and that's your Fulton Grace or kind of your Dreamtown, kind of your Serhant, the indies, right? The independent brokerages. And then the fourth vertical, this fastest growing vertical in real estate space, the cloud-based space, which was trailblazed by EXP. But then you've got all these other companies that are transitioning and migrating towards this vertical. You've got Fathom, you've got Epic, you've got LPT, you've got Real, you've got Realty of America, you've got Serhant that's kind of migrating towards cloud-based space now. So, writing on the wall, man, for us, it was very, very clear and simple. And we kind of saw where the shifts and trends were, and where you can actually have a platform where you can build an organization on that platform. We did about $110 million in 2023 fiscal year, and left almost $370,000 on the table. That was at a very, very, very high split. All right, I'm talking mid-90s. And if you do the math, and you're like trying to 2.5%, whatever the fair market value, market commission is, you're trying to figure that out. The numbers don't add up. But when you take a step back, you start adding listing fee, you start adding co-op fee, you start adding resource fee, you start adding insurance fee, and then you add the split, and then you do that sort of volume, and you have a team of 25, 30 people, and everyone per head is getting hit with those expenses, well, then it becomes very, very difficult to operate. So the consultant we hired a financial advisor and a bookkeeper. We gave them about $500 million worth of our sales, and we gave them the best sort of offers we got from these 18 or 20 verticals, and we told them to run projections and analyze every single deal and see which one makes the most sense. And I'm telling you, Ryan, the best case scenario, was so far from real that it didn't even make sense, right? That was the best case scenario. And they were all, by the way, in the cloud-based space, because someone's got to pay for the brick and mortar capital. Someone's got to pay for the human capital. And fortunately for us, in this cloud-based model, we don't have those expenses. Mm-hmm. So those offerings, don't cost us anything, but those savings are forwarded to us. And, when I was sitting down with Clayton Gitz and, a couple other people that introduced us to Real, and I'll talk about that story as well, how I kind of learned about Real. When we did our numbers, it was too good to be true. It really was. And, we know there are 8 streams of income, basic 8 streams of income. Now you've got the mortgage and title and fintech income as well. But if you just look at those 8 streams of income and forget about the 7 and just look at the commission income, right? The 85-15 capping at 12%, just right there, that was better than anything else we found with our volume. We also noticed that all these other brokerages started putting guardrails on our business, right? You have to charge this much, right. You have to offer this, you have to do this, So the moment the businesses and brokerages start putting guardrails, and those guardrails kept getting narrower and narrower and narrower, that's a pretty good indication you start looking for something else, right? Because in the 5 years that we stayed at our previous firm, not a single lead was offered to us. Every single client worked with us because of us. So we were the brand, we were the reason clients wanted to work with us. And so much so that before we made a move, I'm a very analytical person, Ryan. You've known me a long time.
Yeah.
Before we made a move, I picked at random 50 of our top clients. At random, right? The 50 clients we picked that we had recently done a deal with, I should say, rather. And we sent them a 3-part question, Google survey. The first question was, do you know which brokerage we're with? And we gave them about a dozen options just to kind of, mix it up. And not overwhelmingly, I think maybe less than 2 or 3% kind of nailed the actual firm. Most of them wrote down saying that we thought you were the brokerage. We thought Qamar was the brokerage. So that was the first red flag. Second red flag was, if we were to transition to a different brokerage, would that matter, or would our relationship hinder? And everyone said overwhelmingly, no, absolutely not. I think 98% said, no, it doesn't matter. And finally, the last question was, when you were hiring us, what was the reason? Why did you pick us? And I think the brokerage was less than 2%. Everyone said word of mouth, referral, reviews, met you at an open house, found online, whatever the reasons were, right? Mm-hmm. Advertising, no one said brokerage. So when we're sitting down there and we're saying, hey, $360,000 we left on the table, when no client knows which brokerage we're part of, they don't care which brokerage we go to, and they didn't hire us because of the brokerage. What are we paying this much money for? Because there's no software I can't afford to purchase. There's no human, if you need to get their services, we can't hire. So plus we have guardrails. Our business is actually not thriving. The delta of profitability keeps getting squeezed. So how do we grow? And that's where the advisor said, listen, you're not going to be able to grow. If you have aspirations of becoming the first $1 billion a year real estate team here in Chicagoland, in Midwest, it's just not going to happen, because that profitability of 18 or 20%, which is what you need to deploy back in the business, does not exist. So you have to make a choice. And we made that choice. Very happy with that choice.
Awesome. And so, and just to paint the perspective, Rafay is, like you said, you're very analytical with your numbers. Rafay has a $150 to $180 million team. So if you're an agent that is listening to this right now, and you can relate to the size that maybe are close to the size of what Rafay is doing, or just run a large team himself, there was a lot of money that you had on the line that made sense. So, and just to talk about that, with the team itself, you have how many agents on your team? How many admin? Can you kind of give us a insight on what that? I know you produce as well still.
Yeah. So we have 27 agents right now, not including me, and we have 8 admins and staff members.
Okay.
And that's between office manager, that's between marketing person, that's between a bunch of TC associates. We have a contract writing VA, and we have a CFO who does all our accounting projections and payouts. So that's the makeup of our staff.
Okay.
27 agents, not including me. If you include me, that's 28. And at this time, we're probably, I would say, about half a dozen agents behind, based on the amount of leads and amount of volume we have, right? So there's only so many clients you can operate and work with on a regular basis, right? Anywhere from 20 to 25, and that's on the high side. At a given time, we're getting anywhere from 700 to about 1,000, 1,200 leads a month. So we're kind of behind. And again, I'm not saying all of them are ready to go. Some of them go in drip campaign and nurture and whatnot, but that's kind of the makeup of the team right today.
Yeah. And then the other, to kind of change direction a little bit, when you say that you were leaving that much money on the table, you were not referring to you personally yourself. I would imagine you're probably referring to your agents as well, because 27 agents, you have 27 agents. As a team lead, I know those agents are extremely, extremely important to you. Did Real give you, when you made that switch, did Real give you the flexibility for them to be able to earn more and make more along the process that you
100%.
originally didn't have before?
100%. And when I share that amount of 360, 370 that was left on the table in one fiscal year, I mean, that's like off the top, right? That's just the haircut that the brokerage, that's the money, that the delta that the brokerage siphoned off the business, off the top. And then what's left of that 110 million in sales volume, that was distributed between the brokers and cost of, expenses and my fees and commissions and everything. So that's just off the top. When we made the transition to Real, just the capping model, I mean, my organization, you gotta understand that my entire organization caps within, I'd say, about a month and a half. So we haven't paid a Real, a commission cut since really May of last year. That's our anniversary date is April. So we've been writing 100%. Half of our leaders in our team, they're already elite agents. This is my second time earning elite. So again, when we take a step back, and people ask me, Rafay, what's your commission split? It's very difficult for me to answer that, because I'm not at 85, I'm not at 100%, I'm at 147, 157%. I get paid to hold my license here. And I know it's a very foreign concept, because a lot of people can't fathom that. But when you have all these streams of income, and you've got the revenue share checks coming in, and you've got the performance awards and bonus awards, the capping awards, and now if you're using the fintech, the financial technology at Real, you earn points, and then those points offset your expenses. It's very difficult to explain that to someone who's in a brick and mortar setting, right? Yeah. The amount of money that's being left there, this is just needs to be educated. People need to be educated of what the other opportunities are out there.
Yeah. I love it. So, giving your agents the opportunity was important to you. Saving the money. You and I are very similar. The amount of money, things can be all nice and warm and fuzzy, but if the numbers don't make sense, sometimes it doesn't make sense for me. What I've noticed, and I don't know if you have to share now that you've been a part of Real, the numbers made sense to me, and I mean they're overwhelmingly made sense to me. So whenever I made the switch, and I know they made sense for you. Now that you've been a part of Real and part of the community and everything, and over the past 2 years, was there stuff that has come along that's new, or just being involved with Real, or opportunities, whatever it might be, things that you did not expect when you before you switched, and now it's a very neat, cool thing, experience, whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's a great question. And listen, anytime you transition, there's always going to be some sort of hiccups there. There's always going to be ups and downs in transition. Transitions are not easy. But Ryan, I don't know if I can say that anything was unexpected. It was very black and white, and we always make, as a team, we make a unanimous decision. So we pull in our leaders, we pull in our partners, and we sit them down and we say, this is a decision, almost like a board meeting. And we put the facts very black and white. There's no shades of gray, and we tell them, this is the decision. Does everyone support this? And when everyone heard this, when I explained it to them, everyone was on board, and we understood that there are going to be some transitional hiccups there. But I'll tell you this, man, we onboarded in about an hour. The team of 37 people, or 40 at that time, we onboarded within hour and a half. We were up and running the same day. Yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to technology, but you have Leo, you have the call support. Anytime you need to speak with a live human, within moments, someone is available. Of course, you have your sponsors that are here to support you. They have fiduciary to support and assist you. So we had our sponsors supporting us as well, and making sure that if there are any questions, those questions were answered. And it's pretty self-explanatory, man. I mean, I think, unless you're just not familiar with tech whatsoever, for us, I mean, we're pretty tech savvy, pretty progressive, and we needed a platform that allowed us to sell real estate the way we want to sell real estate, right? Not putting guardrails. Someone not saying, hey, we're not going to sign this listing agreement because it doesn't say X percent. Hey, we're not going to sign this listing agreement because you're not charging X dollars to the other party, right? Or to the seller. Like, all of that, the nuances, the resistance, that just never existed at Real. So it allows us to operate the business very, very smoothly the way we want to operate it. And that's why we've been now essentially doubling our business. We did about $100 million last year. We're on track to, or the year before, about $140 million last year in 2025. We're on track to do $220 million. That's our goal for this year, 2026. We are at $21 million closed and pending. It's February 3rd. We're on track, man. I mean, we're going to hit the numbers.
That's awesome. That's one of the things I like about Real too, like you were saying, is if you have the opportunity, if you're just kind of a recluse and don't really want to be a part of the community, be whatever, you don't want leadership telling you how to run your business, you are free to do that however you want. If you want to be a part of the community, if you want to dive in and really feel like a part of something, if you want leadership to not necessarily put handcuffs on you, but to help you to grow, they're there for that as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say, Real is not for everyone. It's for entrepreneurs. If you're looking for a lot of hand holding and you need a brick and mortar office in every single town, then there are hundreds of other companies. But if you're looking for a vehicle that allows you to drive any which way, in any direction, the way at your speed, at your custom settings, then I don't think there's a better vehicle than Real right now. Is there going to be something maybe better tomorrow, day after, next year, 10 years from now? I'm sure. Like, there's going to be competition, but that's where Real has to kind of keep up with the competition. Analogy I use is smartphone industry. It was Nokia and Motorola that created the smartphone and the Blackberries and all of that, right? They trailblazed the market, but it was Apple that came in and created the whole thing and made the UE, user experience, a lot more sophisticated, and packaged it up and made it sleeker and sexier and better and easy to use. That's kind of what Real's done. Real didn't trailblaze the cloud-based space, right? But they found out what everything that was a hindrance or the negativity or issues and kind of the loophole. They kind of figured a better vehicle, right? So that's kind of what happened. So I think currently, truly, this is my honest opinion. I think right now, there's not a better model for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
If you allow me to take a path down sort of memory lane here.
Yeah.
Back in 2021, I had attended a seminar by an incredible human. His name is Ben Kinney. Maybe that rings a bell because you come from the KW world as well. And a former KW market owner, and currently he's the owner of Place. Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez put together this mastermind and seminar called Built How. I've been to many seminars. I don't think to this date I've been to a better one. I mean, this was life-changing. 3 days of the most incredible just mastermind with most incredible humans, and I don't think I've gotten better information anywhere else. There's oftentimes a lot of fluff, but this was just nuts and bolts. I mean, incredible event. So first of all, shout out and plug right there. Secondly, there was a session, and it was called Billion Dollar Builders or Billion Dollar Leaders, something like that. And the panel was for everyone who was running and operating a $1 billion real estate team, right, a year. Man, I didn't see a single, and this was agnostic, by the way. All the broker owners and people from different brokerages were invited. And I didn't see a single person operator from any brick and mortar. Every single person was either in a cloud-based model. So that was kind of the first signal right there that, okay, well, if these people are operating at that level, there's something about this cloud-based space that allows them to have the flexibility to operate at that level, right? And then at that time, I was at my former brokerage, and we had gone to our annual trip, and then the most anyone in the entire statewide did was half of that, was 50% of that, and in a market where the average price point was $22 million or $20 million. So I just had to put two and two together. Again, I just knew that if we needed to operate at that level, and we're not in a luxury market where the average price point is $20 million or $15 million. We're in a market which is $370,000, $400,000 average price point. How do I get there? And then that was kind of the clue, and I just kind of went down the rabbit hole, and like I said, just interviewed we met with Glenn Sanford and Coldwell Banker's executive team and Ad Properties executive team, and the owners of Dreamtown and owners of some independents. And after making this decision, it just was very clear that there's nothing else out there. So anyone who's listening, I mean, I'm saving them at least $30,000 in research. I paid these people, and 9 or 10 months of this journey of brokerage dissection and research, and I'm telling them right now there's nothing better. So take it with a grain of salt, of course, do your own research, but those were my findings, and no one tap me on the shoulder. This was not a knee-jerk reaction. When you're moving 40 households, you have to be very responsible with your decision. So making a move to Real was a business decision. It was an analytical business decision, not an emotional decision.
That's really good. Really, really good. And then one thing we haven't really talked about yet, someone of your level of production alone draws a lot of attention to you, whether it's speaking engagements and or just being recognized across the nation, being highly recognized in your local area. I think there's agents out there that they might think that, hey, you know what, like, I'm just focused on my team, I'm focused on that growth, and I'm not really worried about rev share. Can you, I guess, talk to a little bit about that, on kind of agents that might have that mindset, maybe how they could potentially really need to reshape that mindset and think about the potential of rev share, and especially with the kind of production that you're doing and what that can do for you, for someone that is currently not partaking in rev share?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, I believe, and these stats I think are still accurate, I think less than 18% real estate agents at Real participate in revenue share. Okay? With that being said, there was a research at NAR that said that an average agent, right, average agent at an average brick and mortar, average brokerage will stay for about 2.7 years. That's kind of the average tenure. And the same average agent, if you take them and you introduce them to a cloud-based space with a revenue share of at least $1,000 a year, that's it, their longevity goes up twofolds, right? It's about almost like 5.4 years. So first of all, that right there, the importance of revenue share, because even if it's $100, $200 a month extra, that's brokerage offering or brokerage money that just was not available to you anywhere else, right? So that fact always kind of back of my mind. For us, revenue share was always a byproduct, because at our former brokerage, we would bring people on board, we would train them, we would educate them, we would share our templates, we'd give them our leads, and then a couple months into it or 6 months into it, if they felt like they were just, ready to go or ready to graduate, which whether that's ego or whether truly they've learned everything, they would just leave, and that's it. We've just done all that investment, that work for absolutely nothing. At Real, this is a revolving door, and this is an industry issue. At Real, anytime someone who comes on board and we don't think that person is a good fit, not a good culture for the team, or if that person needs to leave, they just stay at Real. So if we sponsor them, they're kind of in our organization, and it's just very organic. And we allow people to kind of toggle back and forth a couple times, but not too much. But maybe it's not a good day or a good time today to be on the team. Maybe it will be a year from now. Or maybe it's not a good time to be on the team, but maybe a year or two from now you want to be on the team to have shared services. So we allow that back and forth. That's how we've been able to build our organization very quickly in about a year and a half to about 250, 260 people. Now, let's talk about revenue share. What I love about Real is the funds, the revenue share does not come from your check. It doesn't come from my check. It doesn't come from another agent's check. Those are company dollars. So instead of a brokerage taking all those profits and reinvesting or distributing between their shareholders, what Real does is they give you back in the form of revenue share. So what I love about Real is from that 15%, right, pre-cap, every single dollar that's coming in, 40% is all Real takes to operate and use for R&D and expansion and operational cost. 60% of every dollar that's coming in as revenue is given back to the Real community in form of revenue share. Right? We get paid in 5 generations. It's a second stream of income, truly another business in itself. And Ryan, I've seen people who are pulling in anywhere from a couple thousand a month to about $1 million, $1.2 million a month. Right? It's the whole spectrum. So it depends. Something my mentor and my good friend Clayton says is, it'll pay you like a business if you treat it like a business. Right? So if you treat it like a business and you actually invest time in it, then it's going to pay you like a business as well. So it's been life-changing for us. It's another complete stream of income. It's currently it's in 5 figures, and for us it's life-changing. I mean, it allows me to put more money back in the business. It allows me more money to reinvest in R&D and grow, and it's a game changer. It really is. And this was an opportunity that I did not have access to previously at any other firm.
Yeah. And that's what I love. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so if you are, again, the mindset and the mindset has been a little bit flawed just because of the former companies that came in, and they were so aggressively into recruiting and attraction and kind of pushing, hey, you got to come, and I think you kind of alluded to that. People will follow you if you have production and if you're doing something that's worth following or pursuing. And that's why production is forefront for us. We're in the business of real estate sales, right? Our goal is to become the first $1 billion real estate team by 2029, 2030. That's kind of the goal, right? In that mix. So when we're doing and operating at that level, other people who are trying to pursue or are asking, hey, how did you get there? For us, it's a very simple response. It's a platform. The platform allows us to be flexible and fluid. Of course, there's more talent and skill and strategy and whatnot, but fundamentally, if you don't have the right platform, you can't really build on that foundation.
Yeah. And RevShare helped you get to that. It wasn't just, hey, we saved a lot of these expenses. RevShare has also helped you and your team reach
Absolutely.
further levels, and I know of multiple other, I know of, like I said, several other agents that have used the rev share that they have because they're a large team
Yeah.
and they are known nationally, or they're just known very well in their local area. And if, as an opportunist, if someone is interested in talking to you about getting into real estate, why
Yeah.
not tell them about your brokerage that you absolutely love, and you benefit from it as well? Everybody wins. We all own this brokerage together
Yeah.
as a result, and that money can also help your agents and your team grow to levels that you never thought would have
Yeah.
been
I
possible.
mean, there are people in my team right now that are 10 deep, 12 deep. I mean, their bills are getting paid. I mean, their mortgages are getting
Yeah.
paid. Their car bills are getting paid. They're taking some extra money and reinvesting in their business and doubling their business. I mean, Ryan, I can't tell you how many times, and again, we're ambitious guys. I mean, both of us, right? So I mean, sometimes I take on more than I really should, whether that's just doubling down on leads or getting a new office space and whatnot. We just purchased another office space, another 4,500 square foot space in retail North Shore market, and a lot of that is done due to the revenue share. Right.
Yeah.
And we kind of open it up because the community is helping me get there. We open it up to the community. So every real broker is invited there. We have a podcast room that we're developing there. We have, an open space. We got a bunch of conference rooms and we got closing space over there. So we're blessed to have this opportunity because honestly, without it, I don't know if we would have grown this aggressively. Any overage that we have gets reinvested into the team for better technology, better R&D, more talent that we're bringing on board. We just brought on another incredible marketing person. Their entire salary is covered by our revenue share per month. So I mean, this has been life-changing for our business.
And what a
Right?
blessing! What a blessing it is for, like you said, that you have agents on your team that have 10 or more people that are in their rev share as well. Like, how many places can say, whether it's a boutique brokerage or wherever, that can actually say, like, hey, team members on a large team actually can set up wealth and start building wealth along the process.
Absolutely.
Usually it's always things like, oh, it's the team lead's the one that's making all the money, but it's not the case in this model.
That's a great point because previously, when we were at the former company, we would ask our team members to say, "Hey, bring us other people that you might think are a good fit for the brokerage or for the team," because we were looking to grow at that time too. And the most we could do is offer some sort of incentive, right, for connecting us with the right person. But now this is, in perpetuity, the incentive from revenue share. That if you bring someone on board, yes, they're on the team, but let's have you sponsor them, and then allow us to kind of train them and make sure that they're selling a lot of real estate so that you're taken care of by this one person in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Real also offers you stock every time you bring someone on board, which, by the way, let's talk about that. I think this is one of the only few brokerages that is asymmetrically going up organically. Without cutting checks, without buying more debt, without buying other portfolios of companies, without buying market share, organically, right? So I'm very bullish on the stock right now. I think it trades right around $4 a share right now. Got picked up by Russell 2000, 3000 stock index last year. I think the fintech, if it drives adoption, I think it's going to be double digits very, very quickly, and then beyond. So I'm extremely bullish on this company. I think the whole digital wallet, the real wallet, the real capital, some incredible, the Leo, Hey Leo, which is kind of in beta, the ability of Leo to write and review contracts for us. I think what Tamir is doing is legendary. He's a visionary, and I think he's putting the company on the map. He's giving everyone else a run for their money right now.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. In the year that I've been with Real, it is mind-blowing all the updates and new tech that we have gotten within this 1 year, and I can't wait to see what the next 5 looks like, man. Really can't.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I love that at Rise every year they drop something big, right?
But
So
wait,
that's
there's more.
I'm really excited about it. I think the ability of now having your listing panels where clients can go and start communicating with Leo. And that's a lead capture funnel now, where it starts answering all your questions about the property and starts setting up appointments. In the future, the opportunity of having Leo integrate with showing time. I mean, there's a lot of the ability for Leo to start connecting with your clients and turn it almost into not a CRM, but a AIRM, right? Artificial intelligence relationship management system, which is communicating with your clients and having the ability to write and review your contracts.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff doesn't exist anywhere else. And I give this example if anyone who's kind of confused on what fintech is, because no other brokerage is doing what Real is doing. I'll give you an example. Starbucks is not a coffee shop. Starbucks is the bank that sells coffee. At a given time, Starbucks is sitting on anywhere from 1.4 to 1.5 billion dollars in customer deposits through their apps. Right? You have $50 that grandma or your spouse or someone gave you the $50 card. Today you go to Starbucks, you use $5, you still have 45 on that card that Starbucks is deploying and using for expansion and R&D. Right? So imagine, Starbucks has more liquid cash than the third largest bank in the United States. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
So similarly, I think Real is becoming a bank that's going to start selling real estate, having this digital wallet and ability for people to deposit their funds and in return earn points and offset their expenses. But at the same time, now Real is using all that money that is our money just sitting in their account, and we're earning points and rewards and whatnot, instead of having it sit in Chase Bank or whatever the case is. They're deploying for more expansion, more growth, and more technology, and more just progressive technology and opportunities. That is exciting to me.
Yeah, it is. And you mentioned, that's just one of the pieces, but you also mentioned like Haleo. So Haleo is a product that is coming here soon. I think some areas already have it and going through the processes. The whole nation will be having it here, and Canada be having it here. Within probably summer, I would say, if I had to make a guess. But what's cool about this is at first, whenever I heard about Haleo, which is a client-facing AI that is working with us hand in hand, that the client is basically texting one number, and us and the AI are working together with the client through this phone number. What I really think is cool about it is at first I was like, man, like my clients aren't going to talk to AI. And I'm going to challenge that, because the reality is AI, how convenient would it be for us to be integrated with ChatGPT or something along those lines that clients are using? People, the average day consumer has already said like, hey, I no longer need to go to Google. I no longer need to go to the library. I need to no longer call someone. I can just ChatGPT my question and it's going to get answered. And Real is giving us a platform that integrates that with us. And it's just a seamless transition with clients. And I think clients are going to absolutely love it.
I say that Leo is the smartest real estate agent that exists. It's much smarter than any one of us, because it's getting fed by 32,000 agents across the United States and Canada. It has more information and local knowledge and troubleshooting abilities than anyone else. So it's getting more and more sophisticated day by day, hour by hour, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Anyone who's looking for quick information, accurate information in the real estate specific hyper-focused market, Leo's going to have all those answers. It'll be able to communicate with you and tell you if you're like, hey, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in a building with HOA fee less than $500 and taxes less than $10,000, with a pool and a couple amenities that has appreciation opportunity and something I can buy for less than 5% down. Within seconds, it'll generate that. Yeah. Right. So that ability to communicate with you real time and give you, we live in a world of instant gratification now. Right. Everything needs to happen now. Right. And then being the medium between us and our client, and then troubleshooting all the issues, eliminating all the resistance, and then allowing us to just go and show them the property. Just imagine how helpful that is. Yeah. And then down the road, having the ability to follow up with our clients and following up. Hey, what do you think about that property? Are you interested in moving forward? Would you like me to start drafting an offer? Would you like me to connect you with a lender? From what I understand, again, there's a 80-20 Pareto principle in everything. There are 20% of activities that us as real estate agents do that move the needle 80% of the time, right? So founder's vision, Tamir's vision is that the 20% of activities that move the needle, those are the only activities we should be focused on. Everything else, the 80% of other the tasks and nuances of real estate, that needs to be outsourced by technology. And I'm so much on board with that, because that allows me to then really double down and get on this path really seriously about hitting our vision and our $1 billion mark. Yeah.
In that scenario, what that looks like, today to most agents is that scenario you just gave. It is us responding to the client saying, hey, I got a handful of showings today. I got a closing. Whenever I get back to the house, I will get back to that. I will search that for you. I'll get that set up all through the whole process, along with the other 5 clients that also text the exact same thing today. Whereas
and we procrastinate.
It's completely resolved.
We say we'll do it today,
and we
but
procrastinate.
we get home, we're like, man, I have no more energy left. Yeah, it doesn't get tired, man. It doesn't have a spouse. It doesn't have kids. It doesn't need a break. It's on it right away. And then having the
100%.
ability to integrate with our calendars and showing time and schedule and look at our schedules and line up appointments for us and get everything done. I mean, imagine that world. How cool.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Brother man, I appreciate your time. Let's wrap up with a couple questions that are kind of more for agents. That 1 to 2 questions for an agent that's a little newer or has a small business that's wanting to scale and start a team. What's something that you've been there? So you've been through all the stages. What would you recommend for someone that's wanting to start a team for the first time?
Definitely not sign hold your license with the first brokerage you come in contact with. I will speak with few people and I will find some people that are where you want to be at, and then see which markets or which platforms they're operating on. And that's step 1, is like foundation. I touch on that, and that's the biggest mistake I've made. I've wasted so much money, and I've really stalled my growth because I've been in the wrong platforms, at the wrong companies, the wrong brokerages. So understand what you're trying to accomplish, and then find the right platform, find the right people, see where they're at. Number 2, if you're trying to grow or build a team, start with an admin. That is the first thing. Oftentimes people start hiring buyer's agent or listing agent, and then you start focus on growing them, and then your production stalls, and now you don't have money coming in, and you don't have any SOPs or systems in play. The whole thing implodes. So step 1, hire an admin, help them create systems, give them what you're looking to do, build that out properly, allow them to help you grow your business. And then once you're at a stage where you just absolutely can't handle more business, then bring in a buyer's agent, and then bring in a second buyer's agent, and then look at a listing agent. That sort of micro team concept, start with that, and then eventually you can start building the team.
I love it. So someone has gotten to that point. They have maybe one, let's say one admin, and they might have 3 agents, and they're ready to take it to the Rafay level. They're love to see 27 agents. What would you advise them to some of the things that
value? How can you make their life easier, and how can you bring more business in the door for them? That's it. Simply. Whether that's a tech stack, whether that's more admins, whether that's contract writing for them, whether that's contract to close for them, whatever that is, that thing, you just have to find that delta, like that and just bridge the gap.
So you're saying that it kind of transitions from whenever it's you and 2 to 3 agents and an admin, a lot of it is your business that you're bringing in, that you have generated through your efforts, and it's being projected down to them. Whenever you want to go to the level that you're at right now, then it becomes more of the tech stack. How can you bring in leads that maybe you didn't?
Duplication at that point. Yeah, it's SOPs, it's operations, and it's kind of duplicating the model itself, and that could be utilizing the tech stack a little better. That could be more lead generation. That could be more operations. And again, you got to understand your avatar, right? If you're a team that's heavy on the FISBO cold call canceled, then that's a different avatar. That's a different tech stack. That's a different direction. If you're all SOI, that's different. So you really got to understand what the vision is for your team. What are you trying to accomplish? For us, what I realized, operations. And then again, the ability to close more volume, whether that's through tech stack or more leads coming in. Those were the 2 things that were holding growth for quite some time. And then you just got to get out of the way. You got to find the right people that do what you do better, and then allow people to kind of thrive. Accountability is huge as well.
That's awesome. Rafay, I appreciate your time a ton, man. Always a good time chatting with you. If someone wanted to connect with you or follow you, what's the best way, or what platform are you most active on?
Yeah, just Google me, man. Rafay Qamar, Qamar. Instagram handle is Rafay, RAFAY _QAMAR, and send me a message.
Awesome. So if you have any interest in joining Real, you can always reach out to Rafay or myself. We're more than happy to be able to help you any way possible and answer any questions that you may have. And I appreciate you, man. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Ryan.